Caitlin Clark is gone. Not injured. Not resting. Gone. Just minutes ago, breaking news revealed that the WNBA has quietly pushed her out of the spotlight, and fans are losing their minds. But that's not even the wildest part. Because the moment this hit the headlines, Sophie Cunningham and Lexie exploded in a way nobody saw coming. No more silence. No more playing nice. They didn't hold back. And what they revealed is shaking the entire league from the inside. This isn't just about one player being benched. This is about power, favoritism, media manipulation, and a league caught red-handed trying to control its biggest stars. The moment Sophie and Lexie stepped forward and exposed the truth, the internet exploded. And what's unfolding right now could change the WNBA forever. Strap in, because this story is only just beginning. It started as a whisper. Then her name disappeared from the starting lineup. Then reporters noticed she wasn't warming up. No injury report. No official statement. Just gone. Caitlin Clark, the biggest rookie star the WNBA has ever seen, was suddenly sidelined in what fans are calling the most suspicious disappearance in league history. Within minutes, speculation erupted like wildfire. Some insiders claimed it was load management. Others hinted at disciplinary reasons. But here's the problem. Those same insiders admitted something felt off, way off. This wasn't a routine benching. Clark hadn't broken any rules. She hadn't skipped practice. She hadn't struggled on the court. In fact, she was leading her team in points, assists, and headlines. She was driving TV ratings, selling out arenas, pulling in a wave of new fans. So why would the WNBA remove the one player fueling its explosive growth? Then came the leaks. Sources close to the league began whispering about unspoken tension between Clark and high-ranking officials. Apparently, her outspoken nature, her refusal to stay silent in post-game interviews, and her growing influence on social media didn't sit well with everyone in power. She wasn't just a player anymore. She was a phenomenon. A voice. And some executives didn't like that. One particularly explosive rumor claims that during a closed-door meeting, Clark pushed back hard against league marketing decisions, calling them tone-deaf and out of touch with real fans. Within 48 hours, her minutes dropped. Within 72 hours, she was benched. And now? She's nearly erased. No press conference. No media access. No statement from her team. Just a cold, quiet blackout, as if they are trying to kill her momentum before it becomes something they can't control. But if the league thought people wouldn't notice, they were dead wrong. Fans didn't just notice. They revolted. Social media detonated with #FreeCaitlin. Thousands demanded answers. Comment sections flooded with outrage. Even NBA stars chimed in, calling the move shady, calculated, and disrespectful to the game. And the league's silence only poured gasoline on the fire. Because this stopped being about silence. It became about silencing. And that's when Sophie Cunningham stepped in. And everything changed. Sophie didn't wait. While reporters scrambled and fans overwhelmed league inboxes, Sophie went scorched earth. During a fiery post-game interview, she ditched the cliches and dropped a verbal bomb that stunned the basketball world. You don't sideline your biggest star unless you're scared of her power. That single sentence spread faster than anything the WNBA's PR team could contain. Clips of Sophie's bold call-out flooded every social platform. And she wasn't done. On her podcast, in team meetings, on live broadcasts, Sophie doubled down. She called it what it was, retaliation. She accused the league of playing political games with players' careers. She slammed leadership for choosing control over progress. And she said what most athletes were too afraid to admit publicly. Clark wasn't benched for basketball reasons. The moment Sophie spoke out, fans rallied behind her instantly. Hashtags turned into movements. #StandWithSophie and #FreeCaitlin began trending side by side. Her courage lit a match the league never expected, and the flames spread fast. But Sophie didn't stand alone for long. Because the very next day, Lexie stepped up and made it clear she was ready for war. Lexie didn't post a statement. She didn't do an interview. She walked into the press room after practice, stared straight into the cameras, and said, "If Caitlin Clark can be treated like this, what do you think they'll do to the rest of us?" That was it. No fluff. No corporate tone. Just raw, unfiltered truth. The room went silent. And the league cracked wide open. That single sentence turned into wildfire. The clip exploded across the internet, not just among WNBA fans, but across the entire sports world. From ESPN to YouTube, commentators started asking the same question. What is really happening behind closed doors at the WNBA? But Lexie wasn't finished. Hours later, she posted a black and white photo of herself and Caitlin with just one word in the caption: loyalty. That image detonated online. Was she calling out betrayal inside the locker room? Was it aimed at management? At teammates? No one knew, but the timing said everything. Sources say Lexie has become one of the most vocal players in team meetings since the controversy began. One leaked report claims she challenged the coaching staff directly, demanding to know why the one player driving sellouts and ratings was suddenly glued to the bench. Teammates reportedly backed her. Whispers of locker room fracture became headlines overnight. Even more shocking, Lexie hinted that players from multiple teams were quietly discussing the situation behind the scenes, under pressure to stay silent. She's reportedly helping organize a coalition of younger players who believe the league is trapped in outdated politics and fear losing their careers if they speak out. Then came the cryptic tweets. Lexie posted, then quickly deleted, a message that read, "If you want to build a legacy, stop silencing the ones who create it." Fans screenshotted it instantly. The quote spread across Reddit, TikTok, and fan pages like wildfire. Some believed it was aimed straight at league executives. Others thought it targeted media figures, downplaying the controversy. But everyone agreed on one thing: Lexie wasn't reacting. She was leading. Together, Sophie and Lexie had formed a front line. And the league was now facing a full-scale uprising. But while players spoke out, fans didn't stay quiet. They erupted. Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, TikTok. Everything went nuclear. Hashtags like #JusticeForClark, #FreeCaitlin, and #StopSilencingStars exploded in real time. WNBA posts were flooded with angry comments. Sports forums were overwhelmed. Within 24 hours, the internet had turned this into a crisis the league could no longer ignore. Fans began compiling evidence, timestamps, clips, quotes, and side-by-side breakdowns of player treatment. Some highlighted how Clark absorbed hard contact without whistles. Others pointed out the bizarre drop in her minutes despite elite performances. Freeze frames showed referees ignoring clear fouls. Fans even tracked how WNBA social channels suddenly reduced Clark coverage, accusing the league of trying to erase her. And then, after nearly 2 days of outrage, the WNBA finally responded. And somehow, it made everything worse. A cold, corporate-sounding statement was released. No mention of Caitlin Clark. No acknowledgement of controversy. No explanation. Just vague language about strategic rotational decisions and a request that fans trust the process. The backlash was instant. Fans didn't buy it. Reporters didn't buy it. Players definitely didn't buy it. The wording only confirmed what everyone suspected. This was a cover-up. A calculated attempt to minimize a decision that had already ignited rebellion. Corporate PR playbook. Vague language. No accountability. Total avoidance. But this isn't 2004. Fans are sharper. Social media never forgets. And when you try to spin a story this big, it only explodes harder. Sophie Cunningham responded with a single eye-roll emoji on Twitter. No caption. No explanation. Just that emoji. It racked up tens of thousands of likes within minutes. Message received. Lexie Hull reposted a clip of the statement being read on air with the caption, "So, we're pretending this is normal now." Fans went wild. Even veteran analysts flipped. One former WNBA player tweeted, Rotational decisions don't erase your MVP candidate. Something else is going on, and it stinks. And then came the financial shockwaves. Merchandise sales of Clark jerseys reportedly dropped overnight. Ticket returns surged for games she wasn't expected to play. YouTube highlights flooded with comments saying, "She's the only reason I watched." Cities that had sold out arenas for the first time in years suddenly faced empty seats. Sponsors noticed. According to leaked reports, at least 2 brand partners contacted the league demanding clarification before continuing promotion. That's corporate code for, "Fix this, or we're gone." Still, the WNBA doubled down. No apology. No follow-up. No transparency. Just behind-the-scenes damage control, while players and fans burnt the internet to the ground. And that's when it became clear. This wasn't just a controversy anymore. It was a reckoning. But what the league failed to realize was this. When you silence one voice, a dozen others rise to take its place. And that's exactly what happened next. Behind closed locker room doors, alliances began to form. Players started preparing to fight back from the inside. While the WNBA tried to repair its public image with carefully crafted spin, a far deeper fracture was spreading behind the scenes. Locker rooms weren't just tense. They were breaking apart. Players who once laughed together before games were now whispering in corners, avoiding eye contact, and quietly questioning who was truly loyal to whom. The situation wasn't just controversial anymore. It was radioactive. Sources close to multiple franchises revealed that a growing divide was tearing through the league. Veterans versus newcomers, silence versus rebellion, and loyalty to the badge versus loyalty to the truth. On one side stood the longtime pros, players who had spent years navigating the system. They had already spoken up. They had already taken their stand. But Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull weren't done. Because just when things started to cool down, they came back swinging. And this time, they weren't reacting. They were issuing a warning. In a joint interview broadcast live across sports networks, Sophie and Lexie stared straight into the camera without blinking. No smiles. No diplomacy. Just raw truth. Then Sophie delivered the line that shattered the internet. "If this is how you treat the player who built your league, no one is safe." Cold. Ruthless. Unapologetically real. The room went silent. Reporters froze. You could feel the weight of her words, because it wasn't just about Caitlin anymore. It was about all of them. Every player. Every voice the league tried to silence. Lexie followed instantly. "We've been told to stay quiet for too long. Not anymore." Boom. The line in the sand had been drawn. The message was unmistakable. The era of fear was over. The stars were done playing by the league's unspoken rules. If the WNBA wouldn't protect its players, then its players would protect each other. Clips of the interview exploded across social media within minutes. Commentators called it the most honest moment in league history. Fans erupted in support. NBA players reposted it with fire emojis and clapping hands. Even rival WNBA stars began liking and sharing the video, some adding subtle captions like "finally" and "say it louder." And then, the movement reached another level. Hashtags began trending. #PlayersOverPolitics, #LetThemSpeak, and #Women's Basketball. Fans launched campaigns urging sponsors to take sides, stand with the players or lose their support. Independent media outlets published deep investigations into WNBA internal politics. Former players came forward with stories of being silenced, ignored, or benched for speaking out. Suddenly, it wasn't just Caitlin Clark under scrutiny. It was the entire league. Every executive, every policy, every silent fine, every behind-the-scenes threat. All of it was dragged into the spotlight. And at the center of it all stood Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull. No longer just teammates or role players, but leaders of a movement that refused to be silenced.